Good evening, it's 6 o'clock. This is Lombard Bros Gaming. I'm Joe and Zach's dad. My name is Chris Lombard. Tonight, we're going to talk about one thing. Talladega. What a great race yesterday. See, I have my first mod in. Spencer. Hello, Spencer. Max the Hedgehog. What's up, Max? There's a hello from Boss Lady. God bless her. We love her all to death. Ultimate Gamer 16 says hi. Billy Jr. Racing says hi. SpongeBob South. What the how are you going to stream? You stream. N2SC5R says hi. I'm here tonight. Like I said, we're just going to talk about Talladega. And all I got to say about that is that one had everything. I mean, in the old days, it'd say it had everything but the kitchen sink. And this one did everything but the kitchen sink. I mean, it had the great pre-race. It had the great national anthem with the military band. Cool flyover from the Air Force. Great command. And 40 hot cup cars. Perfect day, perfect weather. You couldn't ask for it to be any better. Temperature 75. The track was perfect. There's, you couldn't have set it up any better. If you wanted to set it up like a Hollywood movie, you couldn't have set it up any better. It was perfect. And you know what? The race was too. So I want to talk to you about Talladega tonight. We want to talk Talladega racing. Because if we can't fill an hour with what happened yesterday, then we're just not trying hard. Glad to see my friend Alan back online tonight. James says, how are you? I'm great, James. I had a great time yesterday. I just soaked it all in. I felt like a young man. Here's my friend Brendan. Run, Ronaldo, run. Ethan's in. A lot of my favorite guys, good guys, and some new friends tonight, I hope. But great race tonight. We will talk about all the things that go on. There's guys already talking about deep into the race. But let's get from the start. Good start to the race. Good strong start to the race. I love to hear them when they get around turn 2. And those engines just start to crank up and they're making that beautiful, perfect noise, all in harmony. You know, you got 640 cylinders just all beaten to death, man, and they are just burning the high-test ethanol fuel. And it is wonderful. Gigantic crowd. They were all on their feet. Wonderful, wonderful race. And it did not disappoint. Great first stage. A lot of cars running door handle to door handle, quite frankly, if they had door handles. But great. DF5, number 24, I just came, got to go. Got to go. Well, sorry you can't stay. It'll be a great hour. Somebody's asking if the bros are back tomorrow. In fact, yes, they are. I'm picking them up at the airport tomorrow afternoon. And on Thursday night, we're going to have a special edition of the talk show. I'm going to go on with Joe. Joe and I are going to talk his Talladega experience and how they liked it. And from everything they've told me today, they had a great time. Here's Freddie online tonight. Freddie, how are you doing, bud? I'm great. Couple of comments already about restrictor plate races. You know, if those things didn't have the restrictor plates, they'd be going 220, 225. They'd be off the track, over the wall. It would be a mess. You wouldn't enjoy it. You just got to, with the physics and the dynamics and the banks, corners and things like that, you just got to put a little control on those cars because otherwise they would go nuts. And you'd spend all afternoon under caution. So you have a little control sometimes. The race was just perfect. All I can say is, if you didn't like what you saw yesterday and you weren't paying attention, because that race was wonderful. Wonderful. Here's my friend Curtis Joss says, congrats to Ricky Stenhouse winning at Talladega. Well-deserved win. You know what? I agree because Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a talent. He's two-time Xfinity Series champion. I mean, that guy can drive a race car. All you need to do is put a good set of wheels under him, and he can drive, and he proved it yesterday. You know, there's those restrictor play tracks, whether you like them or not, that is where the guys with the talent just get the chance to show it. And you have a lot of guys up front yesterday who you don't normally see up front. You get the strategy of the race, the different pit strategies and such. You get penalties and things like that. And all of a sudden you get guys up front. You get guys finishing in the top 10 who usually don't get a chance to do that. And I'm glad to see them there. And Menard yesterday finished in the top 10. Reagan finished top 10, and we all like David Reagan. Reagan is a class guy, a great guy, and I was happy to see him finish in the top 10. Here's a guy chiming in. Matt Smith says, when A.J. Allmendinger stopped on his roof, it was right in front of me. I was on the infield. Some of the best shots of that crash yesterday, Matt, were from the infield, and that was awesome. There must have been 50 different angles of that wreck. You could see that wreck 50 different ways, and it was tremendous. It was great. Another thing that I really liked, you know, somebody said to me, when there's tire marks on top of the safer barrier, you know it was a cool wreck and all like that. And I have to agree. You know, there's all kinds of rubber on the walls, but when there's black marks on top of the safer barrier, that is just too awesome. There's my friend, Anything Beyond. How you doing, buddy? Glad to hear you. To see you again. It's I know it's already after 9 o'clock down there in the south, and I'm glad you're up with us to see the show tonight. Chase Elliott's car almost took out one of the cameras. You're right. There was an angle that showed that remote camera sitting on top of the safer barrier, and he just missed that thing by inches. Actually, it would have been a cool shot if he had to watch that thing and then have it go like all fuzzy. That would have been cool. Primus51 says, one of the luckiest cam in NASCAR history. That is true, guy. That is true. Anything beyond, you have to leave? Guy, I appreciate you stopping in just the same. I wish you could stay with us for the rest of the hour, but it was nice to see you again. Come in tonight. Have a good day tomorrow, buddy, okay? Try to be with us Thursday night when we're back online with Joe. And we're going to do the talk show, Joe and I, together on Thursday night. So we're looking forward to do that. I've got school. That's right. School is more important, guy. You've got to get your education, right? Believe me, the smarter you are, the better your life will be. The more chances that you are to make your life better and other people's life better. James Stout says, I met Reagan in Phoenix. You're a lucky guy, James, because like I said, David Reagan is a great guy. The Thursday night, same time, 6 o'clock, just like this. Okay, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, and we'll be here. We'll be here for the whole hour, and we hope you are too. Get a chance to see us. If not, catch up with us on YouTube later. You know, it's going to be there. Mr. Matt Smith says you're a pretty cool dad. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I try. It's cool to it's cool to be able to do this. It's cool to have children. It's cool to have sons that we have things we can share together. You know, NASCAR racing, anything. Try to do it earlier, guy. I wish I could, but you know what? I have a business and I don't get home till 5 something, and we have to get the thing going and all like that. But maybe talk to your folks and let you stay up just a little bit late. You know, just ask them for a little bit late, okay? Maybe do some extra chores. You know, trade something for something. You know what I mean? Stenhouse got TEA yesterday. Oh, Spencer, you're a riot, man. I love you, Spencer. You're the funniest dude. Anyway, these Rocket League reference. I don't know. I don't know, man. Jamie Reynolds wants to know, do I like the damage clock rule? No. I want them to be able to work on those things, and if they get them back out there, get them back out there. A 5 minute thing, it seems artificial to me. I think if a team is clever enough to get a car back out there, and believe me, in the past, NASCAR teams have changed out engines in 14 minutes. 14 minutes. If you could do that in the garage, you deserve to get back out there in the track. So anyway, that would be cool. Anything beyond, I have a big test. Well, go study, dude. Like I said, Thursday night we'll be here, or you can watch this on YouTube. Said, Lombard Dad, what'd you think of the Talladega race? I loved it. Like I said, it had everything. Everything you could want. It had spins. It had solo wrecks. It had Danica hitting the wall. When she hit the wall, that was hard, and that was off camera. You didn't see that in a lot of the very first highlights. But when she hit the wall, she hit hard, spun that car around twice, hit the back end of the wall about 50 yards later. And I don't know if you saw the in-car shot, but as soon as she stopped, she reached down, shoved that thing into first gear, and tried to drive off. Unfortunately, the radiator was busted, and she couldn't get very far. But, I mean, that little girl, she smacked that wall hard twice. First time in the front, and then in the back. Came to a stop, didn't even try to adjust her mirrors or nothing, just reached down, shoved it into gear, and took off. I loved it. You know what? She is tough, man. She is 5'1" of tough. Say what you will, man. She is tough, and I have to admire her, you know. And of course, you always love her interviews. Comes out of the care center. They ask her one question. She talks nonstop, 30 to 45 seconds, you know, without even taking a breath. She's amazing like that. I mean, she can talk. She's I don't know anybody else like that. Maybe. Mr. Lombard, did you see Ryan Blaney crash and out of the race? I saw that. I did. I did see that, and it was too bad because I like Ryan Blaney. I think Ryan Blaney is a talent. He's going to come up. I also like the Wood brothers. I met both of the Wood brothers a few years ago when I went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. A couple of talented old guys, man, who, you know what? They can put together the race cars for 60 years. They've been in this sport. And those old buzzards, I mean, one of them's 91 years of age. He's still out there at the track. He's still in the garage. Love it. Love it. You know, that is passion. If you're 91 years of age and you're still in the garage with your head under the hood, that is passion. That is passion for what you do. Says, even though Danica does yoga, she's still a tough lady. Dude, if you haven't tried yoga, you got to try it. That is not easy. You will bend like a pretzel, and the first time you try it, the next day you will hurt like mad. You know what? But you do it for a while, you get flexible and all like that. Trust me, as you get older, even some of these drivers, these guys get into their 40s. It's not strength training they do anymore. It's endurance training. Yoga's one of the ways to stay into it. They pedal bicycles. They swim. They're not lifting weights. None of that stuff. You know, they are just flexible because, you know what? It's worse to tear something than to break something. You know, when you break something a few months, it gets set. If you tear something, the older you get, it can take a year. Trust me. I have torn things. Trust me, it'll take a year to knit up, and you're just out of commission. And so you got to stay flexible. It's all I can say. But anyway, back to racing. You don't think these guys can sit in those cars, those hot cup cars, for 4 hours and not be in shape? Take a look at those guys. Every one of those guys is in shape. You know, if you ever been out to the track, if you ever met one of these guys in person, they are all in shape. Guys like Casey Kane, Jimmy, Landon Castle. Landon Castle's a triathlete. Jimmy's a triathlete. Josh Wise is a triathlete. Even some of the older guys. Mark Martin. If you ever met Mark Martin, if that guy's got 2 ounces of fat on him anywhere, I don't know where it is. And that old guy, he's 55, man. So you must stay flexible. Spencer says stay flexible. You end up having Tommy John surgery. Spencer's absolutely right. And if you have Tommy John, you're done for a year, maybe 2 years. You know, that's what it is. Here's Jonathan's laughing. All right, Jonathan, I'm glad to see you tonight, buddy. Daytona 500 is one big caution. You know, it was. But yesterday, I should say, That race had pretty much a minimum of cautions. A lot of Talladega races have been a lot worse. That one yesterday, I thought they raced it clean. Like I said, door handle to door handle, 3 wide. There are times when they were 4 wide. If you are 4 wide on the super speedway, it's just like asking for trouble. And yet those guys were just terrific. It's just an amazing thing. Here's my friend Tyler chiming in. Nice to see you, Tyler, tonight. Glad you got here. Josh says, I think Dale has all the bad luck he can have. I think his bad luck will turn around this weekend in Kansas. You know, sometimes that's all it takes is one race. And your bad luck can turn around and boom, the rest of your year is good. You know, life is like that. Sometimes it's just like one thing is all you need. You know, 4 wide, Spencer. That's right. It was 4 wide. The overhead shots yesterday, the camera shots yesterday, the camera work in the race yesterday. I give Fox credit. The camera work was spectacular, and I'm saying spectacular. By the way, James, thank you for the sentiments, buddy. I appreciate it. But it says Primus 51 says, I don't know how they didn't wreck when they were 3 to 4 wide for like a couple laps. I don't know how they do it either, guy. I mean, it's just the physics of it. Maybe it's the air, like a cushion of air between them and all like that, or those tires were just sticking yesterday. But it was amazing when those guys, because you know, if one goes down, they all go down, and they didn't have any of that yesterday. That one big one, when Allmendinger got into Chase Elliott was already loose. His back end was already squirrely. All it took was that one little love tap from Allmendinger, who, you know, basically, as close as he was to the front, should have known better and should have hung back just a little bit. Unfortunately, he got into it, and what can you say? It happens. It was a cool wreck, though. You know, I mean, all of these guys are into it, and all up and down, and on the side, car upside down, and all like this. That was something. Boss lady, Primus is Randy. Oh, Randy, nice to talk to you tonight, Randy. Nice to see you chime in. I did not know that was your online name. Randy's a great guy. Randy's one of our mods. I met him at Auto Club at Fontana in March. Nice guy, terrific guy. I'm glad you're online with us tonight. Red Elite Charlie Gaming said, did you have a favorite video game when you were Joe and Zach's age? Quite frankly, buddy, when I was Joe and Zach's age, they did not have video games yet. They didn't even have Pong. Pong didn't come around till I was almost 30 years of age, so, you know, there were no video games. Video games was watching the television. That was anything video was you were watching it. Other than that, you played games. You know, paper football at school, at lunch on the table, or, you know, you played checkers or chess, or you played cards. We used to play a lot of cards, a lot of poker. When I was a kid in school, we played poker like mad. Lunchtime, after school, things like this, just for, you know, nickel dimes and things like that, but which was a lot of money in those days. But anyway, no, there were no video games yet. And when the first video game came out, Pong, we thought that thing was crazy. That was the bomb. It's like, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing we'd ever seen, that you could actually control something on your own TV screen. So it's come a long way since then, I got to admit. But that was cool. It was cool. But Randy said, did Joe and Zach teach you how to play some games? Yeah, they've tried, and I can play like Wii Bowling and some of those other things, but no, I don't have a lot of time for that and all like that. I like to see it, and I was amazed to see some of these things these guys play. I think I'd like to try some of the other ones and all like that. I'm not for their shooter games, but racing games. Well, I tried a racing game one time. Like, I was a serious wreck. I was in the wall every 3 seconds, you know, so what can I say? Here's a question. It says, Mr. Lombard, do you think Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott are the best drivers in 2017? They're pretty good. I don't know about if they're the best. Look at the guy you got to say right now is the best, is the 42. How can you argue with that? But Stenhouse, look at Stenhouse. He's got 5 top 10s in 10 races. Stenhouse is having a terrific season so far. Not getting a lot of press about it. He will now, but he will get the press about it. Elliott, yes. Blaney, no. Larson, you know what? Larson is going to pick up a lot of fans at the end of the season, I think. Or if in fact, he already is already, because we were at Auto Club and people were, when he got the lead, people were going like, Larson. They were excited about Larson. But like I said, back to Talladega. Back to the camera work again. The camera work was beautiful. If there's any reason not to go to a race, and there's no reason not to go to a race. If you can go to a race, you should go to a race. It is amazing. But next best thing is you got to watch it on TV. Fox does a great job. NBC does a terrific job too. They both do really, really good work with camera work. And those guys work hard. You go to Sonoma, you get there early in the morning. They got guys up way up on cranes, like hanging up above the track on cranes with their camera mounts and all like that. And you can watch it. Those dudes don't come down all day long. They're up there. They got water and a little something all like that. But those guys are dedicated. They're up there 6 or 7 hours on being held up by a crane supported over the track. Just up there in the wind, man, being blown around in the heat and all like that. Because those guys are dedicated. They are professionals. And that's why these races look so good on TV. Professionals. They spend the money. They've got million miles of cable running all over the track. They got people watching things, not only with cameras, but they got microphones, and bang, 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 one shot after another. In that wreck yesterday, how many different angles of that wreck did you see? You must have seen 50 different angles of that wreck. Ronaldo Run says, I think the camera work needs to be better at some of the races. I agree with you, but in some of those places, there aren't that many different camera angles you can get. In a stadium track like Martinsville, very little track like that, there's not many places to put that cameras. Whereas at Talladega, you got almost 3 miles of track, 2.67 miles of track. There's a million places you can put a camera. You can have the blimp overhead. You can have helicopters overhead. In the smaller places, for instance, Sonoma, you don't have a blimp at Sonoma. They run helicopter overhead to take the overhead shots. But a helicopter shot is different than a blimp shot. Blimp shots are great. And they do a terrific job. But at Talladega, because it's so big, the helicopter has to keep moving with the cars, and I think they do a terrific job. I also think the shots yesterday from on the track, the cars going over you, what they used to call the digger cam. They don't call it anymore, thank God. But those shots were terrific. It's amazing to see those cars go by. Coverage is terrific. Like I said, if you weren't a big NASCAR fan and somebody sat you down yesterday and said, watch this, just give it one race, you know what? You have to admit, that was a great race yesterday. That was terrific. It had everything it needed to have. It had guys giving it their all. Look at it this way. Chase Elliott hits the wall. He's up on top of the safer barrier, dragging the tires. He is like leaving rubber on top of the safer barrier. Finally comes down and then drives that thing back to the pits. I was shocked when I saw that car in the pits when they got that camera across of him on the pits, is that after that big horrific wreck, and he's up on top of the wall, then he comes down off the wall, and that car was a mess. That car was tangled, mangled, and bojangled. That car was everything, and he still drove it away back to the pits. And because they were under the red flag, then he got penalized for driving it back to the pits. All I got to say is, all that was is if he thought he could get that thing fixed in 5 minutes, God bless him. You know what I mean? That is a competitor. That's all I got to say. Jeffrey says Logano almost flipped also. He did. Logano was there. Only another car kept him down. It's amazing. It's that he didn't flip. It's amazing a few more cars didn't flip. You're going 180, 190 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you get hit. Those cars aren't all that heavy. They can go everywhere. You've seen those cars get airborne. Nobody and flip over backwards because they're flat on the bottom. They're sealed on the bottom, not like what you and I drive. Those things are sealed on the bottom, and it's like a big wing. And as soon as that car gets airborne, they can go up, they can backflip. You've seen it happen. You've seen them barrel roll in the air. They're right. AJ Allmendinger flipped yesterday. It's amazing. It's amazing that these things happen. And yet people survive. They come down. Like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, go find it on YouTube. Go watch Danica's in-car when she hits that wall. Not once, but twice, and then immediately reaches down, puts it in gear, and drives off. It's like, holy smoke. It's like, that was an amazing thing. The in-car shot of Junior getting through that thing. Some of these in-car shots are amazing. I love to see the in-car looking out the front windshield. I like to see the in-car when it pivots and looking at the driver. And like last week, it's 141 degrees inside of the 11 car. 141 degrees is ridiculous. That will kill you. And these guys are driving 4 hours. They got stuff on their boots. I mean, they have special pads on the bottom of their boots and all to keep their feet from being blistered and things. They get so hot in those cars. They got tubes running into their suits, tubes running into their helmets to keep them cool. And it's an amazing thing. SpongeBob says, I think 22 sucks. I hate him. A little bit heavy. You shouldn't hate anybody. You can dislike people. Don't hate anybody. You know what I mean? Hate's a tough word. Hate's what gets people hurt and killed and stuff like that. But anyway, it's like non-lighted track shall have lights. Spencer, sooner or later they all will, because now what they're doing is they're putting in lights, LED stadium lighting. LED stadium lighting is cheap. You can run it much less expensive than typical halon or halogen lighting and things like that. And places that are just putting it in, like Martinsville, LED stadium lighting will become a new thing, and it's cheaper, it's brighter, it makes the viewing much better. TV will love it at night. TV racing at night still has a lot of problems with the backfill and all like that, but anyway, it's just like this. But Talladega, gotta go see Talladega. Let's talk about Talladega. I just love that race yesterday. Did you see before the race, Michael Waltrip walked up to the top of that 33-degree banking at the NASCAR Hall of Fame? There's a place where you can walk up a 33-degree bank. It's very hard. It's very hard to do that. You have to have a handrail to do it. It's not easy. 33-degree banking is tough. And yet these cars are just zipping along like there's nothing happening. And just cruising at almost 200 miles an hour through there. And it was something. Mickey Hayter says the Talladega race was amazing. I have to admit it was. Talladega has always been good. Talladega has always been special. It is, it's one of those places where you make the pilgrimage. Sooner or later in your life, You got to go one time. You save your shekels, man. You save up your pennies, nickels, and dollars, and you go. You got to do it one time. It's a bucket list kind of a deal. A lot of the tracks aren't, but Talladega, you got to do it. I mean, I would like to go see Daytona. I would like to go see Talladega, and I will one of these years. But if somebody said pick one or the other, I think I'd have to be Talladega, man, because it's amazing. It's an amazing deal. Jeffrey House, Mr. Lombard is lit. Well, thank you. I have to admit, I'm straight up sober, dude. I'm excited, is what I am. Lit is another term for being inebriated or drunk or something like that. I'm not lit, buddy, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to yak with you guys and have a good time talk about the race, because you know what? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I would think if I took up video game racing, I'd probably, all I'd want to do is race Talladega. If I can master one track, I just want to master Talladega. I want to win that thing, right? Spencer, everyone in this chat has led. You know what, Spencer? I agree. This thing is rolling. We're a half hour in. It feels like 5 minutes, and I'm just having a good time. Mario Boss 21 Martinez said, would you ever go to Charlotte Motor Speedway, and for what race will you go? I'd like to, and if I did, you know what? I'd like to see the All-Star race. I think that's kind of fun. If I had another race I'd like to pick, I like the retro race, the throwback race on Labor Day weekend at Darlington. I mean, I love the old paint schemes. I love the old paint schemes. When they do that every year and they announce, who's going to run what scheme and all like that, some of those are gorgeous. The 2015 number 2 car scheme, and I'm no Keselowski fan. I will admit that. But that scheme that he ran 2015, that was so retro. That was so true to life. I mean, I just loved it. Loved it. Would you ever want to go to Bristol at night or Martinsville at night? No, Martinsville day, because you know what? I would like it to feel like back in the day, like back in the old times and all like that. I want it to be retro. I want to be sitting under the bright sunshine and just watch that race and bang, bang. Fenders, just beating on each other, beating and banging side-by-side action. That's what Joe and I always say. When we talk about Martinsville, right? Beating and banging side-by-side action. Trucks should go back to Darlington. I agree. You know what? I love truck race. If I have to choose, I'd rather watch truck race than an Xfinity race, because Xfinity is kind of like Cup car. Truck race is totally different. I love truck race, especially when they get to some of these tracks that like nobody else goes to, where people are excited to see them there because that's the only show coming to town that year. I love truck race. And I saw the young kids. TJ, hey, how are you, dude? But I like the young kids who come up there. William Byron, who the heck was he last year? He shows up, this kid. I mean, he doesn't even like old enough to shave yet, and bang, he wins 7 races his first year out. Like, who is this talent? I cannot wait to see this kid hit the Cup circuit eventually. William Byron, I just think he's got the package, because I think he's quick, and he seems just like a nice guy. Nice guy. Josh says, I have Dale Jr. Darlington throwback car from 2016. Love it, love it. Mr. Lombard, what's your take on Featherlight Modified? You know what? I've seen very little of that, so if I said anything, I would just be speculating and saying nothing. Spencer, 7 wins and doesn't win the truck championship. That's how they fall, buddy. It's like getting 101 wins in Major League Baseball and then choking the World Series. It happens, right? Ask the Golden State Warriors last year, 73 wins, and give it up with a 3-1 lead in the finals. It happens. But Eldora Speedway, Alan said, like to go to Eldora and watch truck race. That would be the bomb, man. Absolute bomb, because you're right there next to the track, right there next to that hard mud and all like that. That would be fun. Noah Levin says, my favorite driver is Jimmy Johnson, Mr. Lombard. I like Jimmy. I think Jimmy's a talent. I really think he's a talent. I had it one time yesterday. I thought he might pull that out. In fact, I was surprised that he ended up 8th. I thought he was going to end up 5th or better, because he was running strong at the end. But you know how things are at Talladega. You get shuffled out, in and out, and all like that. That move McMurray made in the last lap, who would have guessed McMurray was going to finish 2nd yesterday? That, by the way, required cojones. That's all I got to say. Jamie McMurray did something yesterday that a rookie driver, a Chase Elliott, a Ryan Blaney would not have done yesterday when he split those cars on the last lap, because he timed it perfectly. He said, there's a spot, that spot's 6 feet wide. I'm 5 feet 11 inches wide. I'm going through there. And, he did. He did. He just amazing that he split that and ended up in 2nd place. I like McMurray. I think McMurray's a talent, and it was great to see that finish for him yesterday too. But Stenhouse, let's talk about Stenhouse a minute and his victory lane celebration. All I get there is one word to that yesterday, and that was genuine. That guy was genuine. He was there. You could tell he was just smiling on the outside. He was smiling on the inside, and you could see it. His old man got there finally. His dad got there. His dad, who has sacrificed so much over the years to keep Ricky in the game and all like that. The old man got there, and the old man was crying, and he was crying from pure joy. You know what I mean? And if one day if you're ever a father and you have a child with any sort of accomplishment, they score a goal in their first soccer game, or they get an A on a test, or they do anything special like that you've helped them do, all like that, you'll understand why that guy was crying. He was crying from pure joy. I like the fact that Danica was there, and she wasn't in her suit. She was just in her civvies and all like that. Came and gave him, just reached in the car, gave him a big old kiss and all like that. Pure girlfriend boyfriend kind of stuff. I mean, every other driver has his girlfriend or his wife show up on the stage there at Victory Lane. Some people say, well, she shouldn't have been there. No, I mean, these people are a couple. Before they're drivers, they're a couple, and they've been together for a long time now. And you know what? She was genuinely happy for him. He was genuinely happy that she was there, and all like that. I think they're a nice couple. You never hear anything bad about them. Quite frankly, maybe one day they'll have a little Ricky running around, and they'll put him in a go-kart in a few years. Who knows? But I like her. I really like him. I can't say anything bad. But that whole Victory Lane celebration, all the crew members that were there, the race engineer, the crew chief, and like I said, and his old man, that was genuine. You could just tell that guy, he was soaking it in, and he's won races before. Don't, he's crying tears of joy. Absolutely, Spencer. He's won races. He's two-time Xfinity champion, and he was there. He was there. Spencer says she was able to do that since she was involved in that big one. Yeah, it's true. That wasn't her fault. She got hit. My friend Run Ronaldo says maybe one day Landon Castle will win a race. I got my heart broke yesterday too, because he was in the pack running at the end, and all of a sudden tweaks a drive shaft. Apparently, what happened is after the last restart, shoved into gear something too hard, tweaked his drive shaft, and actually broke his drive shaft in his car, and got up to speed, and then broke the drive shaft and tried to coast back around, and almost made it in the gate and came rolling to a stop, and they had to throw that caution. It was like, it was more camera time than you had all day and all like that, but I just can't believe it. It's just like, I wanted to see him at least finish the race. And Junior, I wish Junior had finished higher than he did and all like that. Of course, Junior Nation was there. They wanted him to finish higher than he did, but it's just circumstance. It just happens. That's racing. Some of the weirdest things, can happen. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Everybody's had that in their life somewhere. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's just boom, it happens. Whether it's driving down the freeway, some truck throws a rock and puts a break in your windshield, or whatever. You're swimming in the ocean, and some jellyfish finds you, man. The wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I mean? It happens. But it's just... Jeffrey says, I knew Kyle Busch wouldn't win. How would you know that? He was there. He looked great. But this is racing, and these things happen. Kerr has asked, Mr. Lombard, do you have a favorite NASCAR moment? You know what it is? And some people might not agree. My favorite NASCAR moment is at every race, when they do the flyover. I love to see the military flyover in the jets, or like yesterday, that big transport or something like that. Something that just does that for me. I'm an American dude, and I love my country, and I love NASCAR. And when all that comes together, and they come by there, when they got a military band, or they have a bunch of soldiers, and sailors and all like that, holding a big flag on the infield before the race during the national anthem, that is my favorite NASCAR moment, I have to admit. Once the race gets started, I'm all in on that too. But You know, national anthem and all that, the pre-race. That's my favorite time of the race, I have to admit. And I'm happy when the network stays with it, when they show the shots, when the jets go by, and all. It's an amazing thing. Somebody says, Mr. Lombard, what do you think about Team Penske? You know what? I'm sorry that Logano got penalized, but you know what? If you're cheating, you're cheating. You should not cheat. Those guys don't need to cheat. I'm disappointed that they do that. You know, I'm disappointed. Why do those guys think they need to cheat? It's not the first time they've been caught with, cheating with their suspension, with their rear suspension. Remember a few years ago, Keselowski got penalized. Keselowski, Crashlowski, whatever. He got penalized. And for the same thing, it's like, for God's sake, Roger Penske's got all the money in the world. I mean, serious. The guy is like billionaire. Why do those teams think they need to cheat? They don't need to. Both of those drivers are talented. Both of those drivers drive great cars. Don't be cheating, guys. For God's sake, get out there and race it fast. And unfortunately, they got caught. I know Amarola got penalized yesterday for failing laser inspection. I don't know by how much. I haven't read that yet, but I understand that he failed post-race. Sometimes true, it's a 16th of an inch. Or, 16th of an inch isn't even as thick as a dime. And I think that's a little bit picky sometimes. If you're an inch off, maybe. A dime, come on, man. You've just been bouncing that car up and down for 500 miles and beating against other cars. You can get tweaked out of shape, a 16th of an inch. But, whatever. Mr. Lombard, should NASCAR upgrade their cars so they can go faster? No, they are fast enough. Trust me, they are fast enough. Randy says, so we're going to a real track Saturday, according to Shrubby. Shrubby, you were at a real track yesterday, buddy. The fact that you finished third, you know what? You finished ahead of 37 other guys. You should be happy. You make a ton of money. You get to do one of the great sports in town. Quit crying. That's all I got to say. Joseph says, are you going to be featured in any of the competition races Joe and Zach do? Would be interesting. You 1 versus 1, your sons. Maybe. I got to get a lot better than that. I like to watch NASCAR. I can talk NASCAR, but I am absolutely no gamer. Trust me. And I like that. Boss Lady says, I had to laugh because Talladega isn't a real track. If that is, I don't know. She goes, I love Shrubby, but wow. Boss Lady has always loved Shrubby. And you know what? I love her for that because she just loves guys who can drive cars, The best in NASCAR would have V8 engines. Come on, man. They have V8 engines. Mr. Lombard, should NASCAR add more road courses? Yes and yes. I would like to see NASCAR. I'd like to see the Cup cars go to that track in Montreal. That track in Montreal is actually on an island out in the middle of the river. That was an artificial island that they built for the Expo 67 in Montreal. That thing is an amazing track. I would love to see them go run that thing. I'd also love to see them run up there up in Monterey. That track is crazy. If you think that Watkins Glen and Sonoma have their up and downs, you ought to see this track in Monterey. Cup cars would be nuts. I mean, absolutely nuts on that track. I'd love to see the trucks there. If the trucks scheduled Monterey, we would go. We would get in the car. We would go. I'd camp out all night to get tickets. Trucks at Monterey would drive you crazy because the sports cars have trouble enough with Monterey. Google that track. Do the Google Earth and go look at that track from the satellite view and imagine the trucks running up and down that thing. That would drive you crazy. But like I said, Talladega. Is there anybody who did not like Talladega yesterday? You got to tell me. If you didn't, I want to know why. Because I can't think of anything about Talladega I did not like yesterday. Even the guys running in the back that are running 3 and 4 wide. You got guys that are running, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, 4 wide in the corners. It's like, why, dude? You're going to tear up a $250,000 race car. You know why they do it? because they're racers. They want, you know what? If they can get up to 21st or 18th or 17th or whatever, that's what racers do. And so they get to a place like Talladega where they know that if something happens, they can be in the top 10 all of a sudden and have a better finish than normal. Like David Reagan yesterday, like Menard yesterday. You know, these guys have their opportunity. They would do it. Joseph Fezza says 1970s Love Bug movie. Joseph, are you that old? You just watched an old on Netflix? Yeah, the Love Bug movies. When those first came out, we thought, what is that? But it's endured. Those are fun. Run Ronaldo Run says, I did not watch the race yesterday. I'm watching it now. You got to watch it. Hang in there with it. Mario Boss says, I didn't like Talladega because in every Talladega race, only half the field can finish the race. Hey, that's the way it is. That's the way it is, Mario. But you know what? I like to see why they don't, quite frankly. I don't watch it for wrecks and all like that. I really don't. I watch it but these things happen. And there are people that go to Talladega. There are people that watch the race strictly because they love to see the big one. Hey, if that's what they like, that's what they like. You know, there are people who like to watch football just to see the big guys crunch each other on the line. That's all they watch the whole game. Mr. Lombard says, does Joseph like Monster Jam more than NASCAR? Dude, Joseph doesn't like anything more than NASCAR. You say, Joe, give up food or NASCAR. He says, well, I don't have to eat. You know, Joe loves NASCAR. Joe eats, sleeps, and breathes NASCAR. And that's how he got into gaming. It's just NASCAR, NASCAR, NASCAR. And you know what? You could have worse habits, you know. Spencer says, I wish boring goes fast and fun goes slow. Amen, brother. That's all I got to say in a lot of different things. Says, most people rate race by winner of race and wreck. Like, why? I agree. That was a great race yesterday, like especially the overhead shots. If you haven't seen the race, go find it on YouTube. Watch it. Especially the camera work. If all you're just concentrating on the camera work, don't care about who wins. You know who won already and all like that. Just watch the amazing camera work they did yesterday at that race. That it's got to make you a fan. And by size, now you don't even have to watch the commercials if you now. So anyway, to force Joe to watch NASCAR first, funny, very funny. Tyler says, I wish time was slowed down. That's true, buddy. That's true. Time goes very fast. You wait till you get older. Trust me. Says M2SC4R videos. What do you think of Talladega race? Lombard dead. I loved it, man. Where have you been this hour? I loved it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Do we think Kansas should be moved due to severe weather? Probably not. You take your chances. You know, that's all. SpongeBob. I did not like the race because Dale Jr. did not win. You and about 5 million other Americans, I have to admit. Junior Nation was disappointed yesterday. And Junior Nation knows the clock is ticking. But let me tell you something, Junior Nation. He's not going anywhere. He'll get out of the car, and you know what? He'll be around. He'll be on TV. He'll be in the garage. He's still going to be a race owner and all like that. You will see Junior all over the place because you know what? Junior can still sell product. He'll still have sponsors. Junior will be everywhere. If you think you've seen your last water cooler Dale commercial, you have not. You know, so Junior will be there. Junior, trust me, he'll be there for you for a long time because he's Junior and NASCAR Nation loves Junior and the advertisers know it. Okay, Tyler says, I'll miss Junior. Trust me, he'll be there. Who do I think is going to win the Kansas race? Of course, you know I'm going to say, like I always do, is the guy who comes in first. I have no idea. Jacob wants to know if I think Jimmy's going to win the 8th championship. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think he's still got a lot of good years in him, and I think so. Absolutely, boss lady. She said if there was a problem with the race coverage yesterday, they didn't have the postage stamp sooner. You know what the postage stamp is, right? That's when they don't go away from the race and they move it up to a little box in the upper right-hand corner. That's what we call the postage stamp. You get the little tiny picture of it, and on the left-hand side, you get guys trying to sell you stuff that you've seen 15 times already for the day. I've seen races before. They split the screen in half. The top half of the screen is the race. The whole bottom half of the screen is the ad. I like that better, quite frankly, than the postage stamp. But you know what? They should have the postage stamp right from the start and just stick with, never go away from the race. That's the way to do it. That's my opinion. I know the Napa commercial with Truex with the song. Should it be the same with Chase? That would be funny. I agree, because I don't think Chase could carry a tune in a bucket, quite frankly. He's got this interesting deep voice, and oh my God. Courage Josh, do you think Waltrip went too far in this boogity, boogity, boogity? Yes, every week. I wish he would retire that. It is old. It is one of my favorite things of the NASCAR season is, you know what? If Fox is finished and NBC takes over, just because I don't have to see the Waltrips anymore. You know, Fox does great work otherwise. I like the guys on Fox otherwise, but the Waltrips, you know, grow up, get rid of that tired old stuff that you've been using for 30 years. Come up with a new act and you know, be original. Boogity boogity, quite frankly. They should retire that like Digger. I was so glad to see Digger go. Who do I think will replace Junior next year? We talked about that the other night, Mario. You weren't here, but my bet is now Harvick. Harvick is going to take over the 88. If it's not Harvick, then they're going to move Casey Kane into the 88, and they'll put somebody new into the 5. Those are my two top choices. I could be wrong, been wrong before, but who knows? Joseph says, personally like Crank It Up. We always like the Crank It Up. The Crank It Up is terrific. I wish they'd do it more than once a race. The Crank It Up and hearing the spotters being right in the race like that, that is awesome. If they did that 3 or at least once per segment or once per stage, people would love it. And, you know, it gives the commentators, it gives Jeff and the guys a chance to take a break for like 3 or 4 minutes, get a drink of water, something like that, go down to freshen up, you know what I mean, and do that. Spencer says, I like Jeff Gordon as a driver, commentator, and person. I agree. He also says Bowman should be in the 88. Probably not. Probably not. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think he's personality enough for the big sponsor that they have. I like Bowman. I think Bowman can drive. Maybe if they put Casey Kane in the 88 and move Bowman into the 5, that might just happen. I think that would happen. M2SC4R videos wasn't here the other night. Asked a question, what driver do you like? You know my guy is Landon Castle, and I'll tell you what, like I did the other night. Anybody who can drive a cup car and also model in GQ magazine and be a triathlete, that dude has it all together. And he's funny. Check out his website or check out some of the stuff on the NASCAR website that has Landon Castle. He's a funny guy. He's a clever guy. He's funny. He's kind of a funny guy, and I like him. And he's really nice. We met him at Sonoma last year. What a nice guy. Took a couple minutes to stop. He was he was going somewhere in the pits, but he stopped. Let's take pictures. Talk to him for a minute. Nice guy. Proven nice guy. Robert says, what do I think of stage racing? I like it. Grant says, work on what, buddy? We're having a good time here. We're talking. This is certainly not work. This is fun, and we like it. Tyler says, I like Landon Castle too. Good job, Tyler. We agree. But hey, we're rolling towards the end of this thing, and we still got to talk about Talladega. Talladega looked great. Talladega, the stands were full. The infield was sold out. You know what those infield spots sell for? $600 for the weekend. $600 to drag your RV onto one of those little tiny spots in the infield. Some people had 4 or 5 spots. I was reading that's $3,000 for the weekend. You can stay in some pretty good hotels for $3,000 for a weekend, but you have a good time. And as far as I understand, stories in USA Today Sports about what went on the Boulevard Saturday night sounded like a good time. Human taco making, wrestling and queso sauce. Must have been pretty weird, but I understand it should have been good. Do I like the new NASCAR sponsor? They're all right. They haven't done anything bad. And Spencer said the stands are full because Joseph and Zachary were there. God bless you, Spencer. I love you to death. You're a good guy. Joseph and Zachary, they're good guys. I love them too. Get to see them tomorrow. Good opportunity for them. But the race, we're winding down. Like I said, if you didn't like that race, I don't see very many people telling me they didn't like the race. I guess we're all in agreement. That was a great race. In fact, most of the racing this year has been terrific. Stage racing is part of it. Every year the cars get better. Every year the drivers get better. Every year the camera work gets better. I mean, NASCAR just gets better and better and better. I like the fact that more people, the economy is getting a little better, more people are able to come out. If you ever get a chance, you want to go to an Xfinity race, hey, $20 all day long. Xfinity races are just as good. And, you know, if you're on a budget, hey, go see an Xfinity race, man. They're terrific. Mr. Lombard, do you do go-karts with Joe and Zach? I have done it with Joe, and he leaves me in the dirt, man, in the dust. All I see of Joe at the go-kart track is the back of his helmet. That's all I can see. I don't think I ever passed Joe on the go-kart track. And I like to race, and I think I do pretty good. In fact, my racing handle at the go-kart track is old but not slow. But no, Joe, all you see is the back of Joe's head at the go-kart track because he's amazing. He's really talented there. He wins a lot of races. He lives and breathes this stuff and like that. Zach, you know, Zach doesn't drive no go-karts. Zach drives the full-size classic cars, things from the 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, $250,000 classic automobiles. Classic automobiles, I'm telling you, like Duesenbergs and things like that. Look them up. Trust me. Spencer says, let's go karting. Hey, I'm all for that, Spencer. We can do that. Right? We should do that. Next time we get together, we'll see you. If we see it at Sonoma, see if there's a place up there. I'd like to go karting up there. Maybe an outdoor track would be cool. But we got to talk about Talladega. Talladega, like I said, love it. Just love it. The weather was kind of dicey here yesterday. It wasn't a nice day to be outside and all like that. And it was a great day to watch the race. My friend Kurz Josh, confidence is something you create within yourself by believing in who you are. Absolutely. I have to agree with Boss Lady. Absolutely. Confidence. Confidence is all with you. Nobody can give you confidence. They can't put it in a box and give it to you for Christmas. They can't put it on a gift card and put it under the tree. You have to have it yourself. Do what you're good at. Find the one or two things that you're good at and do it. Spencer, 3 minutes left. Let's talk Dega. Absolutely. Fall race at Dega. One thing I don't like is that it's not the elimination race anymore. Dega's always going to be good. I wish it was the elimination race. It makes people do things that are crazy because they want to move on. I mean, they'll still do crazy things because they want to move on. But I always like the fact that Dega's an elimination race. But on the plus side, by being 1 week earlier, chances are you won't have a weather problem. So there's plus and bad and all like that. Ronaldo says, just finished watching the Talladega race. Laugh out loud. Needs away Joseph says they need to take away the yellow line at Dega. I think that forces them to stay together. You know what I mean? I could go two ways on that, quite frankly, Joseph. On that banking, though, if you were up on that 33 degrees and all of a sudden you hit that flat spot, you know, below the line, you know what would happen? Your car would flatten out and spin, and you'd be in the grass, and or perhaps you would roll. It's one thing if you're on a flat track like at Phoenix and you go inside the line, it's no big deal. When you go from that banking to a flat surface at 190 miles an hour, nothing as good is going to happen. It is going to be bad. Your car is going to jerk to the left or it's going to jerk to the right. You're not going to be able to keep it straight. If it jerks to the right, you know what? You go right up the bank and you take out half the field. You make a big one. So I think the yellow line is a good idea. And you know, Joseph says not because of the safety, but for the racing, not in the turns. You got to have it. You're not going to have it. You got to have it. And that's what it. One more question, Mr. Lombard. Who will retire next and why? God knows. God knows. Who knows? And all like that. But Talladega, it was fun. If you did not like Talladega, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Then you got to find something else to get you excited. You know what I mean? But I liked Talladega. We had a great time with it. And Thursday night, if you can come back Thursday night, that same time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central. Let's get everybody involved. And we will be there. We will be there. Joe and I, we will talk. He'll have been there. We'll have more stuff to share. I'll do some more reading up on it, see what was going on. And, hey, we'll have a good time. But I'm happy you were all here tonight, guys. I really appreciate that you stopped in. Thursday night, us, you, me, Joe, let's do it. All right? And Boss Lady. Love you, Boss Lady.